Okay, we're back. Might have to do a little bit of editing to see if I can get these two files to merge. So that way I don't have to make a new recording each time I need to stop. Yeah, we'll do this. I don't think it's saved. Alright, let's see what we got inventory-wise. Alright, let's go and finish this area. She should be right here.
What I wouldn't do for a Wentworth. Why? Adelaide wants me back on garden duty or something? Thanks, but I'm not going anywhere. This is where I belong. So you tracked me down just to gab about the mass marketeer? I am impressed. I see what's going on here. I'm being bribed. Well, it's working. I can't say no to my favorite cereal. I'll take my stuff and head on back, I suppose. Grace is gonna be glaring knives at me, so I've got that to look forward to.
Alright, good. So we got that fixed. Okay, so our options are diverting it to the town or to the deserters. I'm more inclined to give it to the deserters. because Reed seems more inclined to care about, you know, working people to death. Ugh. Overweight again. I'm gonna sell these two things when we get back to that little terminal. Don't really seem to have a need for those weapons. Let's try the old sawn-off shotgun. See how it is. Alright, let's check out the shield gun.
Here we go! Can't get past that armor!
Yes, better against these.
Cut him off! Nice one!
I think I remember hearing that this game, certain weapon types are better against certain things. I think like energy weapons are better against robots. But it seems like energy weapons are really good against everything. if those robots were the insurance policy. They just killed whoever was working here or for convenience.
Easy.
Let's see how many bad predictions I can make in this game. Alright, so this was it?
Here we go. Don't miss. He's got him.
Oh, nice. Let's finish clearing out this area. So I'll pull the plug. Okay, so let's take us outside. Not ready to go outside yet. There is just a ton of those consumable items. So why does this one require me to use picks? If I do this. So this can be a +5 hack. And this. Okay. So anything that is more than half of the difficulty, you're not required to use a pick.
Nicely done.
So I guess your skill level, if it's 2 times the skill level of the lock, you won't have to use a lock pick. Okay. Well, that seems useful. Knowledge. Put that there. Okay, it must be this computer. Door. Passcode required. Okay, so we use the passcode from the previous guy. Sorry, Reed is his name. Okay, so that's the insurance policy, is the guards have been replaced by those mechanical bots. Yep, that makes sense. All of those robots went nuts, started killing everyone. Nice. Oh, so Space Force Choice decided he was being unreasonable. might be able to find that card.
Here we go. We're pretty good at this. He took one down. Not a peep from me.
We got a whole bunch of like mods that we have not used. Might be worth taking a look at. So we need to find a tool bench to do the modding on. Let's
Coming. That's the last of them.
seems like there might be a couple more in these rooms. What's this one? Those little rodents. Just send a team of technicians to refit the mechanicals. Every sentry and drone. Yep. Basically, like what I said earlier, they've tampered with the mechanicals so that technician team changed the sentries and the robots, and they basically went and killed all the people at the geothermal plant to cut cost. At least that's what it seems like. Definitely seems to be the way things work. What is that? Level up head. Straight level head. It's cool that they have like a lot of items that can boost different stats. That's the key card. Whoa, okay, we don't have enough to hack that. Maybe we need Chester's password from somewhere. Maybe it's in the locker room.
You're not real. You're not real.
That's Higgins. That's Chester. Maybe we get the passcode from him. He seems like he's a little crazy though.
Get away!
Mind the steam. You're liable to get scalded. Oh, here they come! Don't mess with us.
Oh, come on. let's go see if we can talk to Chester. Key is down this way. Probably has something to do with shutting down the plant or allowing us to power converter. Oh, or did it mess with Steam? I don't know.
Great work!
We got so many of those pick locks, those mag picks. Oh, okay. So we can mod weapons now. There's really not a whole lot of weapon sway with this weapon. Sorry. Spread, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of weapon spread. You can add a sight to it. Hopefully that sight's not annoying to use. So what does this do? I thought the weapon's damage type's already plasma. I don't know if that would, what that would do. Well, let's install it and find out. I don't even know if it's really worth adding. But for instance, we could change this one and change it to plasma, and this would actually do more damage against robots. Or shock. Let's do that. So make that a shock shotgun. And let's see your weapons. Tinker. So what does tinkering do? Okay, so it costs us bits, but we could increase our damage output for the weapon. Why not? Alright. Do a little bit of repair work. Okay, so it looks like it costs us, maybe it costs us a little less weapon parts to fix on a repair bench. Okay, so it gives us that same scope as we had on that
Get away!
vintage rifle.
Go away, Phantom!
Hopefully Chester will not decide to get hostile towards us, because he's...
You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. You're not real. Get away from me, Phantom. Shoot. Scram.
Our snake is
You can talk? The Phantoms never talked before. I knew I shouldn't have eaten that sprat raw. See, Higgins? This is why you must always boil your sprats before ingesting. Clearly, I mistook you for one of the phantoms of my imagination, which terrorized me on occasion. Chester D. Higgins. The D stands for definitely not insane. I use it as a reminder. Oh, Higgins has been many things over the years. Sprat Wrangler, Saltuna critic, Aetherwave personality, chairman of the board, galactic defender, Sisty Pig tycoon. I've come a long way for someone who started off as a simple engineer right here in this plant. I specialized in automechanicals, drones, sentries, repaired them, maintained, upgraded, did it all from my old workroom just over in the next section. Look, I don't want to fall into any trouble with the mechanicals. If they wise up to our plans, they will come for us. With prodding irons. You know, you remind me of myself back when I was an intergalactic adventurer. I discovered a flaw. Their hostility levels were hardwired to maximum. There's no changing that, but you could rewrite their targeting protocol so they attack each other instead. Yes, that's exactly it. I see you're also versed in the noble art of mechanical engineering. There's a behavior control terminal in the other room. It should have options to change how the mechanicals act, including whom they shoot at. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need my passcode to access the behavior control terminal. Here, let me just write it down for you. The tail. Definitely start with the tail. If you're feeling adventurous, the ears are a particular delicacy. Jimmy'd opened the vending machines. That lasted a good couple of months. Eventually, I had to resort to more unconventional means of filling my insides. Mechanicals lost their bolts. Opened fire on anything that moved. It was pandemonium. You mean, why did the mechanicals go on a murderous rampage? Same reason any of us do, I suppose. The voices told them to do it.
Oh.
I was on cleaning duty at the time.
Definitely.
My old boss had me scrubbing pipes when the killing started. So, as usual, I missed out.
Let's get this power converter taken care of, and then we'll probably stop it here. Well, yeah, once we finish this mission. Alright, so all the mechanicals should attack themselves now. Or attack each other at least. We may have already cleared out the majority of them, so it may not be that useful. Might need to go. Let's go to that control panel and let's see what we need to do. It may just have us hit all those levers. Alright, so we gotta change the electrical tracking switches. So let's do that, and then we'll divert the power. Should be the last one.
Last.
Right, now we have the option, hopefully, to divert the power where we want it to. So in doing so, we're probably going to turn everyone in the Emerald
Once we do
Vale
this,
hostile.
there's no going back. Hey, mister? Look, I know you want your power regulator and all, but I just gotta ask you. Do you understand what you're about to do? I don't think you should cut off Edgewater's power. I think it would be cruel. I'm sorry. That just sort of came out all at once. Edgewater's hurting. We've been losing workers year after year, and corporate hardly ever sends replacements. There's barely enough Saltuna to fill our bellies anymore. But the town's got some good people in it. Decent, hard-working folk just living their lives the only way they know how. They don't deserve to be punished. Well, that sure sounds like Mr. Thompson. If he was standing here, I imagine he'd remind us of how we're all one big, happy Spacer's Choice family. In Mr. Thompson's eyes, those deserters are still part of the Spacer's Choice family. The family must work together in order to survive. I hate to say it, but I think Mr. Thompson's got a point. Unless those deserters come back, Edgewater's as good as dead. Cutting off their power might be the only way. Miss McDevitt's built something beautiful. Somehow, she's talked the ground into giving life again. It's plain to see she's made the Vale a better place. Fed the hungry, tended the sick. Gave a home to those that had none. But Miss McDevitt delights in Edgewater's suffering. She wants to hurt the town. Do you really want to be party to that kind of hatred?
So really, there's no good outcome, it seems.
Sorry, I didn't mean to babble on like that. I felt like I had to say something. Really? I mean, wow. Thanks. No one's ever told me those words in that order.
So it's probably going to wonder if it's gonna make her mad if we actually choose to divert the power. To the botanical gardens. It's probably gonna make her mad, but
I can't stop thinking of Edgewater, Captain. I'm glad the deserters are gonna be alright with the power, but
it'll be fine.
what about the town? All those people.
They'll be okay. They can go visit the deserters. So I guess for the power converter, we're gonna have to go into the Emerald Vale and get it from them. Because I don't think they have one here. All right. Go talk to her.
What is it? We didn't always get along, but I'm glad to know she's safe. What happened, anyway? Zoe joined up with a band of marauders. Zoe. The same Zoe who doesn't know a barrel from a trigger. Well, I've heard stranger things. You pretty much did my job for me. Least I could do is pay you for your trouble. Let me know if I can do something for you.
Wait, which weapon? Is it one of hers that's broken? No. It says apparent. I don't know what that. It said we had a broken item. I didn't see it.
Zoe says she fought her way out of a marauder camp with her own bare hands.
That's not true.
Oh gosh, it's so pretty.
You hear that? That low, pleasant hum of electricity? It whispers across the veil like the winds of change. You've done well. I would have paid my last 5 bits to see the look on Reed's face when the last lamp in town burnt out and the cannery fell to silence. My son worked in that cannery. When the plague started coming, he was one of the first to fall sick. We had a store of medicine locked away, but Reed refused to treat him. Said my boy didn't deserve treatment. Said the medicine would have been wasted on him. So I buried my boy in the cemetery, gathered my belongings, and left. That's as much of the story as you need to hear. Blunt as a hammer. But you're right. Nothing can undo the past. Time's come to look toward the future. We'll grow, I expect. A lot of workers out there with nowhere else to go. I don't look forward to turning folk away. Camp's gotta stay pure, though. Can't have corporate loyalists mixing with us, no matter how desperate they may be. I am curious. Why did you help us? You don't know who we are. You don't owe us a thing. The plant's crawling with mechanicals, so it stands to reason you risked your life. You're not quite like anyone else I've met. You haven't had your consciousness programmed by the board. You're welcome among us if you're ever so inclined. You are welcome here.
Yeah, Reed's a piece of crap though, so at least these people seem decent. Wait, hold on. So the Adrenatime. I guess is the medication they use to help fight against the plague.
What do you think you're doing? Carry on.
I just want to see what's in there, you jerk. It's not really even worth it. Thanks for the XP though. Didn't even realize she'd get mad. Is there anyone else to talk to? Get any quests?
Wow, you got that?
That doesn't really seem like it's anyone's, so it's fine now. I think that's it. I haven't seen anyone else to really talk to. Probably gonna have to go and fight fight our way through Emerald Vale because they're going to turn hostile to us. So I think what we'll do is we'll get to the city door, we'll save it there, and we will call this a done episode for now. Definitely did a good job of making this game look very pretty. Some more of those primals over there. Bet you one of these.
Here we go! Nice one! Woo! We made it!
Alright, so I am not entirely sure if they respawn or not. I can't figure it out. Alright, what did I just unequip? Shotgun. Okay. I wonder if one of those bandits is bounty on. Do we miss anywhere? I can't tell. Oh, there's one. Birdie Continent is has a bounty. Where did he go? Where does body go? What? Where did his body go? I can't find it. I broke my leg. Well, I guess we're not collecting that bounty. That's a little disappointing. I guess next time what we'll do is we'll not crouch and do a crit attack and launch him toward the sky. Where did his body go? I'm gonna have to watch the replay and find out. We're about to receive a hostile.
Hey, Miss Parvati. Come for a visit?
Not today. Just helping this fella.
Don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend. Your pod? What are you on about? You take a bruise to the cranium? Ain't safe out here. Pleased to make your acquaintanceship. I'd shake your hand,
Still
but I've
gonna
been
be
hauling
Alex
corpses.
Hawthorne for now.
You don't want none of that on you. Name's Silas. Junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family. Hey, I earned that fancy title. Started off a lowly junior gravesite builder, then junior interment engineer. Oh, and I was a junior burial assistant for a time. The rate I've been working, I'm bound to earn a promotion. Must be about 50, 60 burials away from associate in humor. Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our gravesites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see? Company policy. If it was up to me, I'd put the whole town 10 feet under, free of charge. Quotas, mostly. Got a backlog of graves to fill. Bodies won't bury themselves, you know? 4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little. He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up. Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad.
Ah, so he's the one that we missed before we came into town.
When I was little, we...
Thank the law. I've been requisitioning backup for months. Guess the boss finally came to his senses. You ever swung a truncheon? Let me see your rifling stance. I want to make sure you're up to snuff. The war! The coming apocalypse! Man versus machine! I'm talking about mechanical soldier. Cold, heartless automatons made of iron and lies. That's right. That's what I've been saying. We gotta square our shoulders and stand ever vigilant. Auto-mechanicals. Creatures forged in the fires of malevolence. I seen them over by the old power plant. Clattering about, firing at the birds, orchestrating their uprising. When the swarms of mechanicals come clanging on over that hill, where will you be? Cowering beneath your cot? Or standing, shoulder to shoulder with the resistance?
Well, actually, I killed all those.
I've been gathering up a war chest over the years. Saw tuna cans, mostly, some Spacer's chaw, few bit cards. I'll reward you for your aid. Enlistment fees? Yeah, I suppose. Wouldn't want to give the Resistance a bad name. They have sent a scout, prowling around the junkyard just behind our beloved town. This scout must not be permitted to return to its base of operations. Cross it off, then report back. Mechanicals got a weak spot in their midsections. I think the technical term is, the blue glowy square thing.
It's good to know. I did not know that.
I told Silas I'd pay my dues if he agreed to join the Resistance. Guess this means he's finally heard the calling. Mechanical repellent! A stroke of inspiration from the law itself. Here, I've been saving up a couple of bits for just such a project.
Yep. Sell our junk off. Making that money. I wonder what the difference is. Oh, okay. So this is a food vending item. Or a vending machine, I guess. Okay, this... So the hunting rifle is a TNL. All these are TNL weapons. Let's see what Halcyon has. Halcyon's heavy ordnance, it looks like. Why is it selling TNL stuff, though? This must just be a weapons vending machine, I guess. Must be based out of Texas. So where's the junkyard? So if we go to our journal and go to the Die Robot. Okay, let's clean up that robot real quick. See if we can knock out the side quest before we end it. Should give me blue glowy bit.
Aw, he ain't no threat. Bet I could fix him up smart.
Reminder,
Sure.
this unit is worth more than your entire extended family.
Sure.
Searching for repair bay. Error. Navigation systems failed. Unable to comply.
I could probably fix that. I mean, if you wanted me to. That's not bad work, mister. You done this before?
Navigation systems operational. Optimal path toward repair bay detected. Initiating self-diagnostics. Spacer's Choice reminds all colonists that serving the Spacer's Choice family is the highest possible reward. I have been programmed to deliver this pre-approved message.
Should have shot it. Should have shot it. Yeah, nice little XP boost there for using our engineering stuff.
Town's been dark a while now. Could be a mechanical trying to sabotage us. You beat that scout to scrap with its own legs? Pulled its optic cables out its head case? Actually, don't tell me. Rather use my imagination. You're a passing fair soldier, I will confess. But you are one, and the enemy is legion. What you need is an equalizer. A weapon to strike fear in their cold, mechanical hearts. Cantina, lavatory, behind one of the toilets. That's where I've kept it hidden all these years. Sharp, ain't it? The lavatory is the very last place a mechanical has need to enter.
Great, that's awesome.
On the double, soldier. Don't want the bartender poking around in there with a mop.
Oh no, all the power's turned out. What happened?
You're not a big drinker, are you?
Oh, why do we have a bunch of fetch missions? Might pick up Greedfall. Once it goes on sale for the holidays, I guess. Or maybe it will be in Humble Bundle's next bundle. Just gonna keep breaking my leg, apparently.
Town's been dark a while now. Could be a mechanical trying to sabotage us. Feast your eyes, soldier. This here's a genuine Spacer's Choice injury customizing unit, designed to deliver a lethal blast of electrical discharge. I call it the Hand of the Law. You ever want to see a mechanical flailing around like a grounded fish? You stick a couple thousand volts in its guts. With compliments from old Ludwig. Fun. This ain't some quarterly performance review, soldier. Ours is a grave and sacred duty. Time's come for you to journey down into the black heart of the enemy's camp. I'm talking about the old geothermal plant. Unfortunately, the old plant lies outside my board-given jurisdiction. You'll need to get a passcode from the boss, Reed Thompson. I've been after a passcode for years. Boss said no on account of my gross incompetence with all matters related to security. I need you to get us the brain of a mechanical. Well, not exactly a brain. Anatomically speaking, what we're looking for is a logic
I
module.
think we might have this already.
Bang up work, soldier. You're a credit to your uniform. Oh, that reminds me. Gotta look into getting us a uniform. So this is it then. The key to humanity's victory over the mechanical hordes. I would reward you with the gratitude of the Resistance, but I'm guessing you want something tactile. So here's a couple bits for your trouble, and a little something to remember me by.
Okay, nice. Did all that without even having to get the quest from him. Haha, okay, cool. Our science is at 40. Our engineering will be there next level. So will our medical. So she gives us a bonus of 11. So we're actually already over 40 right now. That's fine. Our sneaks decrease because of our armor. Because of this armor here. It's not terrible.
Something you need? In the bar? When I asked if you were a drinker? Sorry. I know, it's none of my business. Strong drink makes me sick. And it makes me real sad. I start thinking about things I oughtn't, and then... Well, never mind that. You got better things to think on. Sorry. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. There was a kind of a thing with a vending machine when I was 12. Not intentionally. I've always been good with my hands, right? So I saw a lock on the machine and thought, oh, this must be how they refill it. But I had to know. So I did my thing, and next thing I know, there's a couple hundred bottles of Zero G rolling out the front door and into the road. Well, sure. They're not tough. Even back then, before I got real good at that sort of thing. Right about then, a bunch of loaders came rolling in the gate, fresh off the Saltuna ships. And Mr. Thompson was up on the porch making a speech about how everyone would have to volunteer a third shift to get it all canned. Anyhow, you ever seen an auto loader run over a bottle of Zero G? Exploded all over Mr. Thompson. One bottle after another as the loaders went by. I was just shy of working age, so Dad had to pay all the damages.
Oh, Jesus.
Rose still angry at me. I can laugh about it now, but I just about puked up my guts in terror in the moment. That's the one time I ever made Mr. Thompson look a fool.
Well, Unfortunately, he's probably going to be equally mad at you, so you're probably not going to be welcome in this town again. It's not the end of the world, though. You can tag along with us. Let's save it here.
Maybe Adelaide was right to leave.
Desertion is a criminal offense, punishable by hard labor. Oh, it's you. Reed told me I should be expecting you. He's inside. We pay by the finger. What do you have for me? Gil Antrim. Real name, Guillaume. Duly processed by a freelancer on behalf of Spacer's Choice. I remember him. Was just a kid last I saw him. Shame.
Well, once in
I'll
outer
just need your
space-
signature here, 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 and here. Got any more fingers for me?
Well, no. One's in orbit. Sorry. I don't know where his body ended up.
Got my hands full at the moment. Make it quick, please.
I'm not going to turn in that mess.
You picked a fine time to visit, stranger. Foreman Granger, mind those words don't come out of your mouth unless preceded by yes or right away or thank you. Shit. Silas still on about that. Here, take the fees. I'd appreciate it if you didn't tell Reed I was late on my payment. Because they're not my fees and not my gravesite. Guy I worked with shot himself. I paid the bill. If you're not familiar with board law, you ought to be. Law requires delinquent gravesite fees to be paid by the deceased party's closest living relative, which meant me. Shame, though. Eugene was a good worker. Woke up one morning and put a round through his upper story. Can't imagine why. The kid was doing all right at his desk. We all thought he was an upstanding receptionist. Just between the two of us, I'm pretty shocked his weapon didn't misfire. Spacer's Choice handguns aren't the most reliable. Eugene wasn't family. Yeah, I was the closest living person relative to his body at time of death. I'm the one who
Aw.
found him, you see, so I pay the fines.
That's ridiculous.
Suicide's a crime. The legal term is irreparable damage to company property. What Eugene did to himself was vandalism. I'm plenty serious. In fact, I'm a little upset Eugene didn't think things through. In other words, Edgewater would have been penalized pretty hard. Whatever Eugene was worth as an asset, we would have had to pay out of pocket to Spacer's Choice. Well, excuse you. I'll have you know, Eugene was an asset to us all. May his atoms be commended to the law. All I know is Silas asked me for Eugene's gravesite fees, which means he was approved for burial, which means his papers went through, which means the town's in the clear. I'm just glad to put this whole ugly affair behind me. Eugene can rest his bones in peace, and the rest of us can get on with our own lives.
Put that away. You're making me nervous. You want to know what gets my bile churning? Edgewater has suffered a cavalcade of disasters. Plague, marauders, desertion. Then you wandered in town. And I was so damn sure our luck was starting to turn. I never knew how right I was. Just answer one question for me. Why'd you do it? Is that right? I'm dying to hear this. Please, educate me. Liberating? Edgewater is my home. The only home I've ever had. I put down roots here, gave decades of my life to this place. I never asked to be liberated. Whatever you were hoping to find down here, I advise you to turn around and leave. I have got guards posted with orders to fire on you. Edgewater's dead. Our cannery's dead. Adelaide's deserters are never coming back. Spacer's Choice will shut us down before long. Some of us will die of illness by then. Some will move on. Some will starve. And as for me, I will tender my resignation, whereupon I shall be processed and then duly imprisoned for gross incompetence. Apologies won't give us our lives back, but for what it's worth, I am sorry too.
Got it. Heads down. Incoming! Oh, look at us! Something's not right. Here they come! Put them That's the last of them.
Hate it for you guys. Should have just left while y'all had the chance. Well, I said we were going to end it here. We'll just make it to the ship.
You and I have got nothing.
What are we supposed to do now?
Exercise patience and contemplate the scriptures.
How we're doing on time.
How am I supposed to file a report with the power dead?
I can't possibly cut anyone's hair in the dark. Ah, gravesite fees. Silas and I had talked about this at length. I thought I'd made it clear my pecuniary situation precludes the necessary restitutions. As broke as pie crust, friend. Bidless, indigent, destitute. I simply cannot afford it. I am a blemish on the prosperity of our fair settlement. When I expire, I expect Silas to toss my body into a ditch. Thank you, no. I despise the cereals. Tell Silas I can't afford to pay, and that I fully expect to have my medical rights revoked for this dereliction. With my apologies. Some time ago, I fell ill with the plague. By the grace of the law, and through my own hard work, I'd proven worthy of treatment. Frankly, I don't imagine I'll earn that right a second time. The barber work hasn't been profitable, you see. I've had to keep this old place running with my own savings. Not a bad idea. But I'd need some kind of collateral. My pair of lucky clippers! No, that won't do. Your idea intrigues me, but I'm afraid I don't have anything to give Silas. I'm open to suggestions. Much obliged. Huh? What can I do for you? You know about Eugene? How? You were probably poking around my things. I really shouldn't leave my letters sitting out in the open. Eugene's golden teeth were a family heirloom, representing 3 generations of poor dental hygiene. He took them to his grave. More than a few. Those teeth were his personal savings. I can't ask Silas to dig up a man's body and pry a few teeth loose from his jaw just to pay my bills. Can I?
Are you asking rhetorically? Because if you're being serious... Ugh, gross.
Desperate measures, Miss Holcomb. Desperate measures. I'm going to have to ask Silas to dig up those teeth. It's the only way I'm paying my gravesite fees. I'm sure that I have no other choice. Here you are. Gravesite papers affixed with my signature and an IOU. Eugene was not a suicide. He put a bullet in his brain, yes, but that's largely a technicality. I was the one who prepared Eugene's body for interment. I discovered symptoms of the plague on his corpse, and I discovered medicine in his pocket. Lots of medicine. Eugene overdosed on adrenatime, which is known to cause psychosis and paranoia as possible side effects. The paranoia drove him to take his own life. We can all thank our lucky stars that young Eugene was hopped up on medication and suffered its predictable side effect. I included it all in my official report. I'd like to think I saved Edgewater a great deal of money. We never could have paid the fines associated with a suicide.
Alright, so there's one other person that we need to do. Not do, I mean... Sorry, talk to. Jeez.
Yes, Mr. Thompson. Whoa, did Mr. Thompson send you? Well, you tell Mr. Thompson I'll be right at my post. Tomorrow. Bright and early tomorrow. Because I'm definitely not plagued. As spry as a spring chicken. That's old Abernathy. You some sort of wandering alienist? Walking into a man's own... You don't know that. I could have been saying anything. Maybe I said vague. You know how words sound a mite strange when you're sick. Wait, no.
Oh,
damn it.
Plague.
Okay, listen. Maybe I am feeling a little under the weather, but I swear I'm on the mend. Please, don't tell the constable. And become the town pariah? I'm already the oldest worker in town. I don't need to give him another reason to avoid me. Hey, you're hale and healthy and possibly for hire, ain't you? Do a good turn for an expiring old man?
What you need?
There's a cache of anthracillin tucked away in the old community center.
Got it.
Powerful stuff. Stronger than what we got, anyway. I need you to break in, nab that medicine, and bring it back to me. You been there already? And you ain't been ground down into marauder meat?
Nope.
Let's see it. Don't keep us waiting. Sweet life-giving nostrum. The first
Seems a little
hit's
bit better
always
than
the
giving
best.
it to
Scratch together all the bits I had around the domicile. It ain't as much as you deserve, but that's all I got.
Okay, so I was wondering what the other use for that medicine would be. Instead of turning it in. No, we're not gonna sit there. I don't need anything from him. Wait.
Just as I was on the mend, the cannery had to go and shut down. Silas knows, doesn't he? That's why he sent you. That's why he wants me to pay up. He knows. I put a few bits aside for my grave. Not that I'll be seeing the inside of it anytime soon. What with being on the mend. I know that, but I got nobody else to turn to. Reed would have wrote me up. Constable would have locked me up and wrote me up. Could have gone to see the good vicar, but I never did find my courage.
Alright, so that's done. So we can talk that. I wonder if, since we have that quest, I wonder if it would actually show us where that guy's body went. I think we can finish up this last little quest in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, so it says he's there. We'll go and see if we can find it. I think we can finish this last little quest in a reasonable amount of time, maybe 10 minutes, and then we'll call it. I think we'd like to. I'd like
Lovely
to
to
finish
see
this
you
area
about,
before I
Miss
call this
Parvati.
episode.
Things going all right, Silas?
Been keeping him careful and true, miss. Best to ask her yourself.
My dad's buried here. Silas watches over him when I can't leave the house. Oh. Well, thanks.
Something I can do for you? You run into any trouble? Reliable work from a freelancer. That's gonna take some getting used to. Then I'll buy you a drink sometime. Suppose you've earned it. One good turn deserves another. Yeah? You could look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater saps lost near every soul to plague. But you'd be wrong. We're survivors. Loyal company folk, brave in the wilds. Hang on, I'm doing some math in my head. 20, 30, carry the one... all my life? Work's been real good to me. Fresh air, exercise. Only problem's the paperwork. Can't get anybody to pay their gravesite fees. Former people, yeah. Marauders been raiding my graves, you see. Hence the armed guards. Oh no. They are after the most precious loot of all. Spacer's Choice Company property. If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna duck my pay.
Well, let's go take care of those, well, it's a little bit running over graves, but...
I used to skip rocks in the river till Constable Reyes ticketed me for unlicensed terraforming.
Oh, come on.
I think she was jealous. She don't know how to skip rocks her own self.
Break a leg. Okay, so we shot him from the top of that chair and somehow he landed 200 meters away. That is incredible.
Get ready!
Nice. Okay, so I guess bandits spawn. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. It doesn't seem to make sense. It seems like some areas are I don't know, they don't respawn. Some areas they do seem to respawn. Alright, so you can level those up to 50 before you have to start spending points into individual stats. So I guess if you want to specialize... This guy's... Here he is. Jesus. Oh god! Stupid Frank. Do we do that? Let's do that. I like that time dilation. Alright, so one more perk, and tier 1's gonna be done. And then we'll have stuff to go into tier 2. So there's our engineering perk. You got a 20% chance to get a mod from breaking down those weapons. It's pretty useful. Alright, so we don't waste any of our time dilation. Should be able to come up. I think this area is already clear. Oh, okay, I think he's in that cave. It's up here. So it should be the last bounty. And I think once we're done, that's all the quests. Did you see your head go? Somehow we can still get their finger from this. So, let's fast travel. Oh, we didn't get the perk. Rip. So we're 8 overweight. Okay. Now we are able to run. So let's fast travel, get that turned in, head to the ship, and then we'll call it. So far, I am really enjoying the writing in this game.
Are we getting paid or not?
Got my hands full at the moment. Make it quick, please. We pay by the finger. What do you have for me?
All the fingers.
Mabel Burgess. Age 37? Right or left-handed? Let's just say no longer applicable. I remember Doc Burgess. Conducted my physical every fiscal quarter. Guess she couldn't keep her hands off her patient's medicine. Still one outstanding bounty. If you've got a finger, I've got the paperwork. Here we are. Bertie Cotton. Cause of death. Let's just say overwhelming physical trauma.
Yeah, you
Bert
could
was
say
the
that.
local preacher before Max took over. Always was quick to remind us that we all get what we deserve in the end. Well, that's all three. I must remember to requisition some more fingerprint ink. Here's all the compensation you've earned, plus a bonus. You've done such a bang-up job hunting down our former workers that I thought it only proper to deputize you. Congratulations. Let me stop you there. It is official Spacer's Choice policy that all Marauders, regardless of prior affiliation to the Spacer's Choice brand, no longer qualify as our people. Ever since the company first settled the Vale. Life's good out here, but it ain't easy. Some folk can't keep pace with the demands of frontier life. Not everyone's cut out to work in Edgewater. Some turn deserter, some turn marauder. None of them get my sympathy. Everybody likes Adrenatime. It is the finest medical drug ever developed by Spacer's Choice. Much better than that crap anti-Cleo pedals. Sure, a little too much Adrenatime can bring out the violent animal in you, but if overdosing on Adrenatime turns you into a lunatic, you have only yourself to blame. Says so right on the warning label. Violent psychosis is a well-documented and legally accounted for side effect of Adrenatime.
Nice.
What's on your mind?
That's it. Adrenatime. Good stuff. Well, I think that is all for this area. Hopefully we didn't miss anything. I think we did. Pretty good job of clearing out everything that looked like it needed. It says I'm near hostels. Actually, I think this is the one area of the town we have not really spent much time exploring. I missed my jump. Let's try it again. Break my leg. Yeah, I'm glad I went for that extra weight. Or I guess the ability to carry extra weight. Because weight seems to be constantly something that we struggle with. But that's probably more due to me hoarding stuff. I said there was hostels around. Yeah, but these are not that close. Okay, so I guess they do.
Can handle this. Woo! Nice work!
Guess we'll just break all that stuff down. So I wonder if we can fast travel now. I want to know where those enemies were that were outside the gates. Some primals over here. There's an enemy.
Let's go!
That shock damage is probably
Woo! We made it!
better to use against robots than these primals. That plasma damage just seems to be good against everything. So why is this one actually worth more? Get it? Alright, so it looks like we completed all the quests. So we'll fast travel to our unreliable ship, the Unreliable.
Is this your ship? Oh my stars, she is just so handsome! Does she have a name yet? What's her drive model? Oh, gosh. Listen to me babbling. When I was in Edgewater, I dreamed of flying on a real ship. Working on a real engine, belonging to a proper crew. Edgewater won't last another season without power, but that don't change the fact that I'm indentured to Spacer's Choice. Company expects me back at my post. I have imagined it, but until you came along, I never thought I had the choice. I want to ask you something, and you can say no. But can I come with you? I could tend to your engine. I know my G-valves from my catalyzers, and I can keep your ship singing. And if you ever need a pair of eyes watching your back, I can do that too. What do you think? Yes! I mean, thanks. You won't regret this, mister. Captain. I can call you Captain now. Ha! I got a captain.
Well, I certainly am looking forward to flying on a ship named the Unreliable. I'll just head upstairs and claim a room.
Yep, just find the most unreliable room, and it's yours. Got a workbench. Oh, cool. Okay. That's pretty cool. So we can boost her armor rating. And we can increase her carry weight with backpack. Might want to hold on to that until we get our next, useful pair of armor. We can repair it at least and keep it running for now. Yeah, we got plenty of armor parts, so let's just repair it. Repair that.
Captain, I have detected. What can I do for you, Captain? Do you know how to install a power regulator? Outstanding, Captain. Your aptitude for engineering will prove invaluable in the event of another catastrophic engine failure. Our engine room is located behind you, across the cargo bay, up the ladders.
Let's go throw in our power converter. This is probably going to be an extremely long episode.
What can I do for you, Captain? All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Alright, we're going to call the episode here. And then next episode we'll fly into orbit and go to the next area. So, catch y'all next time.